Oh, hey guys, you're in the machine, Lotus pose, Padmasana. This is like the quintessential yoga posture. If you look up yoga in Wikipedia, you're probably going to see a picture of this pose. There are a few body mechanics that can help you tighten it up and clean it up if you're already in it, and a few stretches that can open up the hips in case you're still working it. Let's go. Okay, this pose is all about externally rotating the thigh bone, the femur, enough that you can put your foot on the opposite thigh. A quick test to see whether you're there or not is to put your feet, your shin bones flat, one foot in front of the other, and see if your knees are touching the mat or getting really close. If they're really up high like this, you need to stretch before trying this. If you're pretty close to low or you're there, here are a few body mechanics. Important to remember, this is a hinge joint, like your elbow. It likes to move this way. It doesn't really like to move this way. Picture a door. If you close the door and hang on it, you're probably not going to damage it too much. If you open a door all the way and hang off the edge, you're probably going to tear the hinge right out of the wall. So when I place this foot on the opposite thigh, I try to close the hinge and get this leg really close. Once it's close, like all the way to my crotch, I lift it, the height of the other thigh, and then I try to pull it even closer, like to my belt line. Then that knee pushes in, so this can be a tight lotus. If this knee is way out here and I put it up, that means the other foot has to reach way over here to connect and it might not make it. So this hinge, this knee joint closes, then I lift it up and I pull it over and even closer to me. Now I gotta grab the other leg. Sometimes in doing that, this foot unhooks. To prevent that, I just hold it in place. Very simple. Once I have it up, I take the opposite side hand, push the palm to the mat so the inside of the forearm shoves on my shin bone. Now it's kind of stuck, and with my other hand, I can pull the other foot up. Try to get it close before the tension really sets, and then remove this hand. Tighten it up, squeeze the knees together, straighten my back, and pull my toes back toward the shins, like dorsiflexion of the foot. Here we have a pretty good lotus pose. Some people don't need to do all those physical machinations to set the lotus. They just go flop, flop, and their feet are in place, but that ain't me. And if it was you, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. If you're not quite there yet, it probably means you're tight in the outside of the hip, the glute, the piriformis area. So a few good stretches in this order to open them up. So first things first, it's an easy stretch, so easy that the pose is called easy posture, cross-legged, Indian style, because yoga comes from India. Surprised you didn't know that. You can flatten your shins, like I talked about earlier, and then lean forward. If you're already flattening the shins, you're probably ready for the posture. You might not even need this stretch. Important though is that I keep my back straight, if not arched. That means I want this tailbone lifted up with an anterior tilt instead of a posterior tilt. If I tuck it forward and lean, all I'm doing is stretching the low back. That's fine, but it's nothing for the hips. If I'm gonna be in easy, notice how I rest my shin bones on the feet. The front is on the front portion of the back foot, and the back is on the heel of the front foot. That gives me a little cushion in case I'm really tight. From here, I can take a grip with my fingertips on the front of the knees, shoulder blades together, lead with the chest, and forward. If you're not feeling a lot of tension there, bring the feet out a little more so the shin bones are more perpendicular to your spine, and then lean in. It's an easy one you can do while you're watching TV, you're just sitting around, little hip stretch. Another one, the one after this one is feeling good, is basically a half lotus. Half lotus would be just one foot on top. But if you're a little tight for that, we're gonna simply set one ankle across the other thigh and let gravity do its job. I can relax and just let it do its thing. I can lean forward and push a little bit. I can bring it a little tighter and push. Both hands leaning forward. Pretty basic stretch. It doesn't take like a lot of energy to sit around watching TV and doing this. Of course, I would do both sides. So simply place the ankle bone on the opposite thigh. Maybe I'm like really tight and it's way up here. That's okay. Gravity will do its thing. After it gets a little bit looser and a little more open, I can lean into it and start giving it a little bit of a push and maybe adjust the positioning of the foot. Lastly, I really like this one. We're going to kind of get into it backwards to get the shin bone vertical. So I'm going to take my right leg, bring that heel in close to my butt, point that thigh bone forward in front of me, not out here. And then I'm going to take the other ankle, just like we did, but maybe like a little tighter, and set it on top of the opposite thigh. Then I'm going to fall over, do whatever it takes to get this shin bone vertical. So I'm going to go all the way to here. I want it more or less up and down. Then I'm going to leave it in place by pushing with the other hand and try to sit this butt cheek back down to the mat. Then the outside arm hooks, the other arm hooks it, and I lead with the chest and pull. Again, if I round my back and pull, it's going to alleviate the stretch by like unhooking the hip from its position. So I want the sensation like almost like I'm trying to do a cow posture, like I'm arching my back, and then I pull into this 45. Cool thing about this posture is I can kind of wiggle around to find the tight spots and the looser spots and really get the piriformis and kind of make the adjustments that I need. Of course, always repeating on the opposite side, bring that heel into the butt cheek, thigh bone forward, other foot rests at the ankle on the thigh, and I'm just trying to get this shin vertical. I might not even need to fall over, but if I do, I fall over and push and try to leave it there, and then this sits bone heads back down toward the mat. It might not be perfectly flat, but I want to head it in that direction. If I stay over here, there's not going to be any tension. Push, opposite arm, reach and wrap, other arm over that one, and pull, leading with the chest to the other 45. These are big joints with lots of muscles. It takes a long time to open them up, but with a little practice and a whole lot of luck, you too can look just like this.
But the whole point of the machine is to relieve you of that suffering.